Shalom. Part 3 is Yahawashi and the angels fighting against NATO. This is going to be when Yahawashi comes back, with these nations fighting one against another. They're going to leave off fighting one another, and they're going to try to fight against him and the angels that are coming in them chariots. So in this part, we're discussing Yahawashi, the angels, and NATO. Rocket the Yahweh.
Rocket the Yahweh.
Rocket the Yahawashi.
Rocket the Yahawashi.
Alright, in this lesson is going to be part 3, which is going to be entitled Yahawashi and the angels fighting NATO. This is still a part of that ongoing series of the questions that the brother had, concerning the chronological events of things, the way they're going to happen, in these times, leading up into the kingdom. All right. So we're going to start off with Isaiah, the 65th chapter. The 66th chapter and the 15th verse, just to get it going, because when all this stuff starts happening, the famines, the destruction, the so-called natural disasters, uproars of the people, financial crisis, famines, and all that stuff. At the end of it, just before the destruction, you're gonna see Yahawashi and the angels coming, and they're gonna be fighting against Esau and his armies. So all these things are gonna happen. It's pretty much all gonna happen kind of simultaneously, like one after the other, or all within the same time frame, but you will have times where one particular thing will happen and then something else will come in and take place. So let's read that, brother.
Come. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
Right, so it says, behold, the Lord will come with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind. Now, keep in mind that before the Lord comes back, there's going to be fire on earth. There's going to be destruction, and certain fires that are already going to be set. He's going to come with fire, and then the missiles are going to bring fire. You got something?
Yep, no.
Okay. So go ahead.
Right, it says, and with his chariots like a whirlwind.
And with his chariots like a whirlwind. So those chariots are what the so-called white man calls the so-called UFOs. And that's going to be the deliverance of Israel, and it's going to be the destruction of the 2/3. Part of the destruction of the 2/3. Because there's going to be a lot of things that's going to destroy 2/3, which we're going to get into in this lesson. Go ahead, brother. Now you got to bring it out.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 91. And I'll start at verse 1, but the point is in 4 and 5.
All right.
It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
And what's the secret place of the Most High? His truth. Beginning with the name, Yahweh and Yahawashi. Go ahead.
I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler.
Right, what's the snare of the fowler? Those missiles. And a fowler is one that catches fowl or one that catches birds. And who's that? That's Esau. And what is he doing? He's setting up these traps to have Jake to fall into them. But like the scriptures say, he's going to fall into them same traps that he set for Jake to fall under. Okay?
It says, and from the noisome pestilence.
Right, the noisome pestilence are those missiles. So Esau being the fowler, the noisome pestilence being those missiles, the Lord said he's going to deliver us from that. Because the Lord said he set them up to make these instruments to destroy themselves, which is basically the instruments of the Most High. His instruments of indignation for his righteous anger to set things straight that the so-called white man turned upside down. Go ahead.
He shall cover thee with his feathers.
Right, now the feathers also represent the chariots. Go ahead.
And under his wings shalt thou trust.
And the wings is also talking about the chariots. Why? Because when the whole destruction comes, the elect are going to be beamed up into the chariots, and they're going to be looking down on the earth and seeing the destruction and the mayhem and the things that are happening and the judgment, the righteous judgment, the indignation of Yahweh B'Shem Yahawashi. Go ahead.
And under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
Right, his truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Did not the scripture say, and knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
Right, so we're not going to be afraid. Why? Because the Lord is going to put that, I mean, we're going to have like some type of nervousness in us because we're still going to be in the flesh, but the Lord is going to put that spirit in us to where we're going to be able to maintain. Why? Because knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Go ahead.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Right, the destruction that wasted at noonday mean at the top or the height of this man's power, which is what? This so-called New World Order. Just when he's about to set the so-called New World Order up, that's when the Lord's going to bring him down. So that's what's beautiful about it, because this devil, he's going on. It seems like he's like really ain't nothing happening to him, but there are things happening, and the Lord is allowing that to him to do that, so his pride can be continually built up, like Pharaoh was built up. His pride was built up, and then what happened? Eventually, at the end of it, the Lord came and destroyed Pharaoh to exalt His holy name. So that's what's happening now. This devil the Lord is allowing this devil to continually build his kingdom up and continually do certain things and try to get the so-called New World Order popping. So eventually what's going to happen is once he's just about to establish it just one more step further, the Lord's going to be like, bam! He's going to take him out.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that it on that?
All right, I'll just read the next verse.
All right.
It says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee.
Right, so but it shall not come nigh thee. So in other words, you're going to see people dying, because you got to remember, you know, the elect, you know, Lord's will, we're part of the elect. We're going to be in the midst of this. As we're being beamed up, you're going to see people dying next to you. Some by getting shot, stabbed, whatever, burnt. And then you're going to see that wall of fire from the missiles coming. You're going to see the lasers from the chariots coming. They're going to be people being actually destroyed, like in that movie War of the Worlds.
Right.
You know, with Tom Cruise. People just literally being turned into dust right before your eyes as you're being beamed up. That's what our Lord said in the same chapter, with only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked. Okay?
Right. Yeah, that's it.
That's it on there. All right, so now.
That's Isaiah.
Yeah, finish up in Isaiah.
All right, 66 and 15 again. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
That's the Lord's anger. That's payback. Go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
Right, for by fire and by sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. So when you see this judgment, this destruction, this prophecy, that's basically the Lord, Yahweh, his judgment upon the earth and upon the people. Because did not the Lord said, when you see uproars of the people, know that it is the same time when the Lord is going to visit the world which he created. This is the second time. The Lord said after the flood, he was going to visit the earth again. And this time, he's not going to visit it. He said, I'm not going to destroy the earth by water anymore. He made that covenant. That's why you got the rainbow as a covenant that the Lord made to his name, that he would not destroy the earth by water anymore. But now you got these goddamn homosexuals, these goddamn faggots, using the rainbow to commemorate them. Like the rainbow is their thing. Like it's a faggot symbol. When the Lord put that as a covenant to remind us, look, the Lord said he wasn't going to destroy the earth by water anymore, and this is the covenant or the agreement that he made. He said, this is so you can know that he definitely is not going to do it that way. But he's going to destroy it by fire this time. The Lord didn't say nothing about fire.
No, he didn't say. He said water.
He said water.
Water.
You know? So go ahead, brother.
That's right. And it says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. and the slain of the Lord shall be many.
And there's going to be a lot of people slain. Not just in America. America, or whoever's left on the soils of America is going to be destroyed.
Right.
Whether you in a bunker, whether you in a mountain retreat, whether you wherever you at, under the water, you're going to be destroyed if you're here in America. But there's people in Israel. If you're in the land of Israel, you're going to be destroyed. All right? You're going to be destroyed in the land of Israel. Because you had some jerk off that we haven't heard from in a long time. And, you know, we'll give him a little shout out since he wants a little shine. The High Time Coons, they made a comment on the last video we did, the last part about Ezekiel 38. It's not talking about Russia. It's talking about when the kingdom is established 1,000 years in the future. That prophecy is going to be fulfilled with Ezekiel 38. That we're false prophets for that. And this guy is a jack-off and a jag-off and a jerk, because in the kingdom, once the kingdom is established, Isaiah the 2nd chapter and Micah the 4th chapter says that they will not learn war anymore. Now in Ezekiel 38 it said that Magog is going to have spears, they're going to have swords, they're going to be a guard unto these nations that's going to go to war. Once the kingdom is established, there ain't going to be no more war.
That's it.
So you damn dummy, you're the false prophet, man. And you just looking for some attention. You've been in the back, you're like the orphans in the movie The Warriors.
Not even.
You was low down on the totem pole, man.
Yeah.
You know, you're insignificant, man. You know, and we say that not in a boastful way. You're insignificant because you don't matter. You know, and not because you're lowly or humble, nothing like that. Because you guys are full of shit, especially the main dude.
Yeah, a bunch of crackpots, man.
Yep.
And truth is truth. All right, the Spirit of the Lord has been dealing with us, and we've been doing the things that the Lord required us to do.
That's right.
Through the Spirit of Yahawashi. We didn't take hiatus. We ain't pervert the gospel.
That's right.
All right, we honored our elders.
Right.
We continue to do these things through the Spirit of the Lord, Yahawashi. So we continue to do the things, and the Spirit of the Lord is dwelling with us, as it is with all the other camps that you see out there. Okay, under GMS or that's teaching the same thing that GMS is teaching.
That's right.
All right, so it is what it is. Truthfully speaking, the Lord ain't dealing with you niggas, man.
Yeah.
And main thing,
okay, bro,
you guys don't go into these prophecies, man.
That's right.
And that's really one of the main things brothers should be teaching about, especially if you call yourself men of the Lord, prophets. Should be speaking about the destruction of America. That's what it's all about, man.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
That's right.
The Lord destroying America, man.
To set up the kingdom.
To set up the kingdom.
That's it.
Shouldn't be worrying about these damn devils, man. These other nations being saved.
Yep.
Fuck them, man.
That's right.
They got their stuff right now. It's all about the elect.
That's right.
The elect of the nation of Israel.
Which Yahawashi is coming back to deliver and going to destroy 2/3.
That's right.
So now let's jump from there. Go to 2nd Ezra 13 and the Apocrypha. You know, I mean, you know, in the interest of time, we're going to read a little quick to try to get a few of these scriptures out, you know, to make the point, because a lot of this information, a lot of these parts and scriptures that we're going over, brothers we've gone over it many times. So, you know, y'all brothers know the in-depth breakdowns of them. So we're just going to kind of move along through it just to give you an example of what's going to take place. Start at verse 3.
Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
That's talking about Armageddon, World War III, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahawashi. The World War III, which is the war to end all wars. Go ahead.
And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth the fire.
Right, because all these nations are going to be fighting against each other. But then when they see the Lord coming, Yahawashi with the angels, they're going to stop what they're doing and turn around and try to fight against the Lord, even though they're going to be scared. Go ahead.
Right, and when it says, when they heard his voice, they were burnt, meaning when the Lord is going to be shooting fire out of, because he's going to appear back, like the elder said, he's coming back with the chariots,
right,
as we read in Isaiah the 66th chapter.
That's
so
right.
when the Lord comes back, basically he's going to be speaking from when he's shooting them laser beams in today's term.
That's right.
Which is basically fire. That's why in Luke 12, the 12th chapter, 12:49. It says, suppose ye I come to send peace. I said, nay.
I come to send fire. Oh, you talking about Matthew 10:34?
No, Luke 12.
Oh yeah, I am come to send fire on the earth.
Right. He said,
what will I if it be already kindled? Right. That's right.
But he said, but even right prior to that, he said, suppose ye I'm coming to send peace.
Right.
But say nay, rather division.
Right. That's right.
You know, which that's another thing. You got a lot of people thinking that all Israelites got to come together. No, we only coming together with the elect, man.
That's it.
All right, the brothers that are right in the spirit, like John the Baptist said, fruit meet for repentance. All right, brothers that are on the same page as that got the understanding, that's teaching the same thing and teaching the truth, man. Not with none of that other bullshit, man.
Yeah, none of that other fluff.
None of that other fluff. And then he said, I'm coming to send fire, and like the elder said, quoted, and what will ye if the fire be kindled already? Because it's going to be all kind of wars taking place.
That's right.
Like the elder said, as the Lord comes. But when the Lord comes, he's going to send fire, actual fire, and that's why it said in Ezra, they will burn.
Right. That's right.
Right.
That's the judgment, the second death that the Lord is bringing. And if you want to get it, I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet, but Elder Gabar did a mailbag just recently. Actually yesterday, Saturday, he did a mailbag on the second death. I believe it was yesterday he did it, or the day before, or sometime this week. He did a lesson on the second death. You know, so if I get a chance, I'm gonna go back and watch it. If you brothers get a chance, we should watch it, man, because them lessons are heavy. Okay?
That's right. It says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heavens to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
Yeah, they saw this big ass chariot, which they call a UFO, in the heavens, and they were like scared, you know. But the Lord's gonna put the spirit in them to fight, you know, because in their mind they want to retreat, they want to get the hell out of there, they want to go home to their families or their boyfriend or whoever the fuck they with, or go to the bar, go get a drink, you know, after a hard battle. But the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them to come at them so that the Lord can smoke them. Okay?
Right. It says, and after this, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand nor held sword nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
And man, it's gonna be horrible. I mean, we talk about it and we see movies and we read the scriptures and we kind of have an idea of what's gonna come. But man, when that thing comes, it's gonna be a terrifying, horrible experience, man. So the Lord, we're gonna be, that's why it says that the remnant were affrighted, but yet praise the Lord. Cause it's gonna be heavy, man. It's gonna be, you're gonna literally shaking your pants, man. But the Lord is gonna have the spirit in us to where we're gonna have the understanding of why these things are taking place. And that's what's gonna comfort us. Now go from there to Revelation 19. Start at the 11th verse. Cause this lesson also covers that lie about, you know, briefly, that lie about Satan being cast out of heaven, which is bullshit. All right, start at the 11th verse, Revelation 19:11, and we're gonna jump around a little bit.
Okay, come on. Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
And that's talking about Yahawashi. As you read on down, it gives you the description of Yahawashi and that's who it is. And it says that in righteousness he does judge and make war. And that's what he's coming to make. Now jump down to the 14th verse.
14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
So that's what we were just reading in 2nd Ezra 13. So this is saying, this is reiterating what Ezra was saying. Go ahead.
And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations.
Right, and what's that sharp sword? That's these words that were written in here. The judgments going on, the fire, the destruction, the missiles, the wars between the nations. That's the sharp sword. That's the word that's going out. Go ahead.
That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty power.
Right, and that's why it says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments? Why? Because the day of vengeance is, man, you people out there that talk about the Lord, you call him Jesus, you ignorantly call him Jesus. His name is Yahawashi. You think he's all love. He's ready to destroy this goddamn devil. He's ready to destroy these goddamn crackers. And 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Puerto Ricans, Haitians, Dominicans, and the other nations. He's ready to get busy on you, man.
Yeah.
Okay?
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Okay.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great power, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
It's going to be a great slaughter. Okay?
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
Okay.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him.
Right, the beast is NATO and all those nations. The false prophet is the Roman Catholic Church. They are going to be taken in this. Okay?
With which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image.
Which is the microchip, man.
These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Yeah.
And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth. And all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
Right, because that's the judgment and the prophecy that the Lord promised, that he's going to give these birds actual feast. Now go from there to Revelation 12, 7 to 9.
Go on. Revelations chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and the angel and his angels were cast out with him.
Right, that's talking about Esau and his armies. They were cast out of heaven, meaning their position and rulership on the earth was cast down. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. So now go from there to Isaiah 14 and 12. And we're going to finish it out with this scripture here. You know, because these things, this mythology that's been taught is nothing more than something that Jake made up during the, when they was calling themselves Greeks. All right? All that Hercules and Zeus and Neptune and all that, and Apollos, Dionysus and all that. That was all Jake making up all them different mythological tales. The Titans, which were the fallen angels and all that crap. Okay?
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right, so then when the destruction comes, this is what the Lord is saying to Esau. How are you falling from heaven, O Lucifer? Now Lucifer comes from the Hebrew word hayalal, which means morning star or day star. Then it also comes from the Greek word eosphoros, which means the same thing, morning star or day star, which represents the planet Venus. That's what it represents. So the Lord basically is using Esau as because right now they're the beacon of light. Like Pharaoh, the word Pharaoh means son of the sun. Back then they were like the Illuminati or the Lucifer of their time. During the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar was considered Lucifer. Now in this time, Esau, the top elites of Esau, beginning with the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, they represent Lucifer. They represent the bright morning star. And they're going to be brought down.
That's right.
So
To prove what the elder's saying, that's why you got all the other nations coming to learn Esau's ways.
That's right.
Seeking him out. Because he's Lucifer right now. They all learning, they all got Esau's policies. They're in business with him because why? He's the man. He's at the top. He's that beacon of light, just like those other kingdoms were.
That's right. That's right. You know, so basically that's the deal. Okay?
Right. It said, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?
Right. So in other words, you were this great power. You were this beacon of light. You had all this power in your hand, and you made all these nations weak by your military force. But now how are you brought down to the ground? How are you being destroyed? How is your face being rubbed in the mud? You know? How are you in a lower state now? How did you fall from your power? Because Yahawashi is going to bring your ass down. That's why.
Okay? It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Jump down to verse
16.
16.
They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms?
So basically, they're going to look at the so-called white man and said, you're the devil? All this time, we are being afraid of the devil, this mythological creature, which you do have a spiritual demon, Satan, but the actual devil on the earth is the so-called white man, which the word devil means deceiver. So they're going to look at you and say, damn, you're the devil. All this time we were reading the scriptures talking about Lucifer falling out of heaven and his angels cast down, and that you know, we're looking at it as the fallen angels being demons and all that, but you're the devil?
Yeah.
You motherfucker. Man, people are going to be mad as hell, man.
Yeah, but, I mean,
brother.
Hey, because that's going to be in the kingdom after Esau is brought down to slavery, and that's how low you're going to be brought down to so low. Yeah. You're going to be so insignificant. People, this was the devil that was ruling.
This fucking guy.
That's why they're going to look at you nearly like, you know, this motherfucker right here.
Piece of shit.
He was ruling in Babylon. He had all the world afraid of him. He was bombing nations.
Right.
That's the Most High is gonna make you into nothing. The remembrance of you is gonna be nothing. Your legacy is gonna be nothing.
You're gonna be totally exposed, man. So go ahead.
Right. It said that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof.
Who did that? The so-called white man did that. It sounds like a highway, but it's the truth. Who did that? The so-called white man did that. Didn't he make the world as a wilderness? Man, you got chemtrails out here. The food is all messed up. You got all type of pollution, man.
Yep.
You got all people just going in and out of the hospital sick. They can't find out why they're sick. I mean, and then look at the forest, man. Animals are coming and living in the habitat of people. Yeah. Matter of fact, they had this thing this week in the Bronx where the coons are taking over. Raccoons are actually in the Bronx. Anybody that comes around, them raccoons are basically attacking them. People are scared to mess with them. Big ass raccoons,
real
man.
Coons.
The real coons. No, so it's like they have no place to go.
Yeah, while a lion was in the hood, loose in the hood the other day. You know?
Man, So basically, this devil made this world like this, you know. And if you let this devil rule long enough, in the Amazon down there, the jungles of the Amazon, which is vast and beautiful, he will fucking destroy that, man. Because this devil is a destroyer. He's not a builder. He's not a righteous man. He's a destroyer. That's what the Most High is going to destroy him. Okay?
And that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet.
Right, so when you go to war and your garment gets torn, you got all this blood on you from the enemy, you don't really keep that garment. You throw that garment out because that garment is useless. You can't wear it no more. You know, so that's how you devils are going to be. You're going to be like the filth and the offscoring of the world. All right? So that's what's going to take place, you know, when Yahawashi comes back with the angels. They're going to actually bring fire. They're going to come in the chariots. They're going to shoot lasers. And that's going to happen simultaneously with this World War III that's going to be taking place soon, Lord's will, and the missiles, you know? So this has been part 3 of the lesson of the chronological events in prophecy. Lord's will, we'll see you in the next episode. Shalom.